Hello everyone, this is the Weird Talking Guy. I'm starting a brand new gaming series today. It's the cult classic Goldeneye 007 on the Nintendo 64. Yes, I decided to revisit that game, one of the greatest game of all time. It's considered one of the great by many people, and I hope I will help someone discover that game, hopefully. For those of you that didn't play it back then. So I'm starting with the first mission, and I decided to do my entire playthrough series on the hardest difficulty, which is 00 Agent. So it's a game that does a great job of making you play as James Bond. I'm just aiming the first guy. He's dead. So yeah, it's a game that really redefined all FPS games were on consoles back then, because it had great graphics for the time. I know many of you will think, it is basic 3D. As you can see, the textures are poor compared to games released nowadays. The characters are blocky, squarey, but like I said, this was released in 1997, and for the time, that was great graphics. Maybe not the best graphics, but it was great graphics for the Nintendo 64 of that time. By the way, I don't recommend starting a new game on 00 Agent if you never played GoldenEye before, unless maybe you are a lifelong skilled FPS player, but even then, I would recommend doing a little test run first on the easy difficulty, which is Agent. Get used to the controls, which are different than games are nowadays, especially if you play it on the original console, Nintendo 64. The controller is different, everything. And then you can move up to the medium difficulty, the normal difficulty, which is Secret Agent, and then 00 Agent. That's how most people approach the game back then, because it is harder than most games nowadays. There are big differences between easy and hard difficulty on that game. There are more objective on hard difficulty. For example, in that level that I'm doing right now, on easy you only have to bungee jump from a platform towards the end of the level. Okay, on hard you have to install the covered modem, which is very easy, but you need to know where it is. So, and you have to destroy all alarms. There are multiple alarms. You have to know where they are, of course, and you have to intercept data on the computer. This is in the underground tunnels in the last part of the level, below the guard towers. It's very easy to find, because there are only two directions you can go in those tunnels. It's not like a puzzle, or just really straightforward. But more objectives mean you have to explore more when you play a level for the first time. So in most cases, you'll face and have to kill more enemies, and at the hard difficulty, well, you have way less health than on easy. There are no body armors on most levels. On easy you have levels where you have 2 or 3 body armors a bit everywhere. Enemies have much more health. Enemies aim much better. And it's also something to note, the difficulty curve in this game is steep. It gets much harder from level to level. It's not, once you master a level, doesn't mean you will be great in every level of the game. So as for me, well, as you can see, I'm a little bit rusty shooting that guy. So yeah, I just recorded before recording this, actually I played one time on easy difficulty, then I played one time the same level on hard difficulty, and that's it. And it's a game I didn't play before since many years, many years. So yeah, it's you have to get used to the aiming, you know, that's the main part. See, that's where you install the covert modem, the screen here. You have to go to the watch, covert modem, and you just press the trigger button, the same button you press to fire people, and there you have it, one objective completed. Shoot the lock. We're already at the last part of the level, the guard towers, which have the underground tunnels below. So this game is actually one of the best-selling Nintendo 64 game of all time. Really, the story is real good, so that's one of the reasons I recommend it. But the story is similar to the James Bond movie that was released, I think, like 2 hours earlier in 1995. They did take some freedom in the adaptation from the movie to the game, but it's similar. And the level design in this game is excellent. The gameplay is great. The multiplayer modes are loved by players. That's what contributed to the game selling real well. Because you know, in those days the gameplay itself had to be great, because the games were simpler, so there were no RPG elements, like for example in Far Cry New Dawn, a game that I'm playing right now, and for which I uploaded a few short action-packed videos on YouTube. But even a game like Call of Duty, for example, if you take the story mission in Call of Duty, are much easier than in Goldeneye, because in those days, in 1997, people liked a challenging game in general. There were very little cutscenes. You know, it didn't rely that much on story. Yes, Goldeneye has a great story, but it's not like a cutscene heavy game. You know, it's a very short cutscenes at the end of levels, at the beginning of each levels also. It doesn't rely on looting, on companions. It doesn't rely on many gameplay systems actually. Pretty much the only choice you have is go stealthy or brutal, and that's pretty much it. So what it relied on, the main gameplay, it must really work for the game to be fun. You know, that was the base for most game of the time, and this game is actually great fun. There are a lot of action, as you can see, in the underground tunnels. In the underground tunnels there are lots of soldiers everywhere, so you have to be wary of where you're going, and seems they put one in every corner, right? Almost. And they may come at you, rushing you many at a time, because if you don't use the silence gun, so see that there was one in the corner. Like I said, in most corners they will put one, and if you don't use the silence weapon, your silence PP7 weapon, well, they will air you, and if they shoot the boxes like they did right now, you take a lot of damage on that difficulty level, because when the boxes explode, you're screwed. Have to remember to shoot the alarm. I'm not so good at aiming, as you can see. I rely on auto aim because I'm real rusty actually. But you have to be quick. Shoot them before they shoot you because you have limited health. And by the way, some of you may have seen that only a few days ago there were leaks of a scrap Goldeneye remaster. It made the news on many websites, and seems like it's a remaster that dates from about 10 years ago or more that they tried to make, but they could not make it because of the many copyrights that they had to negotiate for that game. You know, it was complicated between Microsoft and which they wanted to make the game remaster on Xbox, so they had to negotiate between Microsoft and Nintendo and the actors of the actual movie, so it was complicated, so they had to scrap it. But personally, I'm not a fan of remasters in general. I much rather play a new game than play a remaster game. I realize that, you know, remasters are good because it means the game become available to more players. But this game is still available, you know. What I mean by that, well, like I heard on another channel, I just did the offsite data backup initiate. There we go. Well, yeah, like I heard on another channel, well, play it any way you can. That's what I think. That's how they phrase it in that channel, which it's a good way to put it. Most of you will know what I'm talking about. When it comes to old game, you can play them any way you can, and there are multiple ways to play them. So it's available. And as for a remaster, well, the game is great as it is, in my opinion. So since you can play it, you don't need to make another one, in my mind. Of course, a new game with, a remaster with better graphics sounds good. But sometimes it doesn't preserve the charm of the original game, you know. Or when it's done badly, it doesn't work well either. You can see many replay of the James Bond jumping from the platform. That's the great jump he did just right there. Mission status complete. In 11 minutes, 55% accuracy. I need to improve that, of course, because it's not great. Well, that was it for level 1. Next time I'll do level 2. Goodbye.